I think if I put my life in order where it was back then, where all I had to care about was bodybuilding, I could train the same capacity and lift the same amount of weights, but I'd have to use extensive amounts of pharmacology to get the job done, which is not what I want to do because I know my health can't take it. So I think it's the only natural progression is just to kind of slowly unwind, still stay in somewhat of a reputable or respectful line where you enjoy yourself in the gym, but not kill yourself in the process, because that's what most bodybuilders do. They hold on to this memory and then they self-destruct.
Two-part question. Are steroids going to shorten your life? To what point do steroids become unhealthy? What's different now than in your 30s and in your 20s?
In my 20s, I was unstoppable. I could do 2 workouts per day, 2 hours each. But also, that was all I wanted to do. And now I want to do more, right? I wanted to do a YouTube channel. I have a wife, other responsibilities. I have business ventures that, stocks that I need to manage or cryptocurrencies that I need to manage. So that all takes time. So now I kind of focus my efforts a little bit more broadly. But back when I was 20, all I cared was bodybuilding. Right? So you would learn everything about bodybuilding and then apply it in the gym. Learn everything about nutrition, apply it in the kitchen, right? Et cetera, et cetera. And I could recover from that, no problem. I could do crazy workouts, recover from that, sleep 6 hours per night, go out drinking Friday, Saturday, go do manual labor on Sunday. And now, man, I can't. And then when I would go on holiday, I would do like 4 weeks of hiking.
Totally. So,
unstoppable.
Objectify this for me, Steve, because I like to objectify things. So, how do you say you're 44 now?
41.
Yeah. So 15 years ago, you were 25. 15 years ago, I was 27. We could do anything.
Yeah.
What's changed from a physiological objective place? Cellular energy production, hormones, like we can replace all of those things, but it's still not the same, right? So what is actually the objective difference between 15 years ago and now at a physiological level?
Priorities. That's it. Because hormonally, I'm in a much
from a healing
better
perspective. Let's say you decided your priorities were the same from like a physiological internal perspective. Say you decided today you want to do the same amount of training. Your body couldn't keep up with the same way. I couldn't.
No.
What's different?
It's hard to pinpoint because I'm not sure if it's metabolism or hormonally, but my testosterone levels are way higher than when I was 25.
Right.
My mitochondrial efficiency is way more optimized than when I was 25 because I'm ticking all boxes for that. Back then, I didn't do anything.
Do you think it's like at the level of the nucleus and DNA transcription? Maybe the DNA has just more like methylation, or
could be. Maybe the time that I put my body under stress has just made it less efficient.
But what's the object? I'm sure. So my brain always goes to, well, if we can objectify it, we can change it. So is it like the fibrotic kind of progressions of the tissues?
Blood flow could be maybe the permeability of the cells is less.
Blood vessels change. That could be it for sure.
Because I feel my recovery is less and my stamina is less. But and back then I was natural. I was 25. I didn't touch any drug. And I had way more stamina, way more endurance, way more recovery capability than I do now. And now I'm on the full Monty of performance-enhancing drugs, all carefully attuned to each other for the maximum amount of drug interactions that are positive and healthy. But I also think my priorities change because I care about it less. So I think if I put my life in order where it was back then, where all I had to care about was bodybuilding, I could train the same capacity and lift the same amount of weights, but I'd have to use extensive amounts of pharmacology to get the job done, which is not what I want to do because I know my health can't take it. So I think it's the only natural progression is just to kind of slowly unwind, still stay in somewhat of a reputable or respectful line where you enjoy yourself in the gym, but not kill yourself in the process, because that's what most bodybuilders do. They hold on to this memory and then they self-destruct.
At what point, so two-part question, are steroids going to shorten your life? To what point do steroids become unhealthy?
It's hard because you're basically speeding up your body, right? Now, steroids don't necessarily cause hyperplasia and shortening of telomeres, but it does increase oxidative stress. So technically, by taking steroids and training harder, you increase oxidative stress and could potentially damage your DNA.
So
And
just pause for 1 sec. Do you classify taking TRT doses as taking steroids? Is that still enough to drive up oxidative stress and age you faster?
No. I think if anything, that's an anti-aging thing, because as you get older, your testosterone levels decline, obviously, and thus you get less active. Your metabolism slows down, and biologically, you could say that that's a preventative measure, right? Testosterone levels go down, but you put more fat around your hips, so you still aromatize to the same capacity. So the estrogen keeps you healthy for lipids and neuroprotection and all that stuff. But from a functionality perspective, from a masculinity perspective, that declining testosterone is crippling.
Right.
So I think that TRT for older age is absolutely the nectar of life. And I would probably run TRT forever. Unless my health tells me at 80 years old, like, maybe it's not such a good idea anymore. And then I go on oral DHEA and pregnenolone and, call that my TRT.
Do you think that could bring your testosterone back? Like if I stop steroids, if I stop taking testosterone today, oral DHT, pregnenolone, HCG, you think you could bring it back or no?
So in my case, I was on steroids for, 26 to, 38. So almost 15 years with the occasional break, the occasional PCT. And then recently I came off, recently I came off completely for the best fertility to get my wife pregnant. So I was on HCG monotherapy with FSH alongside of it. So there's 1,000 IUs HCG Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and 75 IUs FSH every single day. Fertility parameters, absolutely stellar. My total testosterone ended up at 900 nanograms per deciliter. Bless you. 900 nanograms per deciliter, which is higher than I had naturally when I was 26 and my testosterone was declining from, 800 to about 650 nanograms per deciliter. That's why I decided to go on steroids, because it's like, who's going to build any muscle at 640 nanograms per deciliter? Let's see what 1 ampule of testosterone is going to do. That's what I thought back then. So my testosterone levels were higher, but pharmaceutically incentivized. So I do think you can bring your testosterone levels back, but the amount of money that I spent on HCG monotherapy with every little vector to optimize testicular function, taurine, injectable glutathione, injectable carnitine, selenium, zinc, right? Low oxidative stress diet, icing the testicles, something silly like, I did it all. You place an ice pack underneath your nuts, you let it cool down, and then the new blood brings the nutrients in. I did that 3 times per day. People actually do this, and they raise their testosterone levels by 50%. It's more potent than testosterone boosters. It's just cumbersome. So I did all of that. My fertility parameters were off the chart. It was a full-time job. It was literally a full-time job. My training was highly unenjoyable because you come from this ramped up steroid phase of even TRT, 150 milligrams testosterone per week, which gives me around 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. It doesn't feel the same as 900 nanograms per deciliter from HCG monotherapy. It doesn't feel the same because it's just a peak in the morning and then it kind of declines. Whereas with TRT, it's always around the top of the reference range. So
is it the oxidative stress? Is it the oxidative stress from TRT that drives the deterioration of blood vessels? So obviously we know it impacts cholesterol. It drives oxidative stress. Is that generally what's causing the heart disease in bodybuilders and people who abuse steroids?
I think TRT can enhance your lifestyle or worsen it. But it depends on the lifestyle. So if you have a bad lifestyle, you eat a lot of saturated fat, you eat high inflammatory foods, you smoke, you drink, then TRT can make your quality of life and your health worse, even though initially it might give you a boost in energy levels and libido. But if you're already susceptible to plaque buildup and you're going TRT, which is going to worsen your lipids, you might make it worse. But if you eat healthy and you're in a low inflammatory state and you're low oxidative stress state, then I think TRT can greatly enhance your life. But it really depends on which road you want to walk. You want to live the good walk or the bad walk? The bad road.
So TRT and Carnivore feels like a bad idea.
Yeah, and that's what I did. I experimented with TRT and Carnivore, and then my lipids were the worst they've ever been. We're talking about a total cholesterol of 400 and an LDL of 270. Now, my inflammatory markers were low before the Carnivore guys go absolutely nuts in the comment section. My inflammatory markers were low. My lipoprotein A was still decent, right? Apolipoprotein A and B were also pretty decent. But still, in total cholesterol and LDL being that high, I don't think it's sustainable unless you really limit your saturated fat intake on Carnivore, which I do think it's doable for a month or two. But is it sustainable? Probably not. And
So
you know.
when you got off carnivore, what did you do to get your cholesterol numbers and lipids back in place?
Ate some fiber and less saturated fat.
Vegetables.
Yeah, added some vegetables and removed all the saturated fats, because like it's when you're eating 2,500 calories, you can do all meat. It's easy. All meat, maybe some eggs, some roe, some salmon. But if you want to go to 3,000 calories, where are those calories going to come from? That's carnivore approved. Cheese, full with cholesterol. Butter, tallow, full with cholesterol. Fattier meat sources, full with cholesterol.
Is cholesterol bad? Is cholesterol a problem?
I mean, the problem is the scientific evidence hasn't been established on a carnivore diet with a cholesterol that long.
Right.
And then, of course, people say, yeah, well, the caveman, this and that. Yeah, but the caveman didn't have testosterone flowing around in their system, or growth hormone, or peptides, or were susceptible to environmental pollutants and microplastics. Or
constant levels of stress and EMF and shitty sleep and
exactly
the IRS.
Yeah. Exactly. So you have to look at the total picture. Like, I'm not against carnivore if that helps fix your digestion. But it comes with some limitations. And of course, you can inhibit cholesterol absorption with medication, ezetimibe, or use a statin, or citrus bergamot, or red yeast rice. Right? There's always ways around it. But I think carnivore would be a little bit better if you add some fiber to help with cholesterol excretion. And since there's no real long-term studies on carnivore in humans in combination with testosterone, I would proceed with caution. Like, all the longevity studies show that keeping your cholesterol levels in range is just better for health. And otherwise, do a CAC score every year. See if your CAC score stays 0, then I guess you're good.